And let me introduce myself first. My name is Elka Berlando. I'm a C6 with my husband, Guy Berlando, in Sealy by Design. And I seem to be more a little bit in the background of building, but Guy and I are doing this together. And what I found last week in the training and in general, what we've learned, we want to be good communicators, right? Because we have great message to share. So I thought, you know what is it's interesting. We sometimes do not ask the correct questions, or we are maybe too direct talking at people, or we don't ask questions at all. So I thought, man, you know what? Let's do a little training. Maybe it helps. And if I can touch one person today, I feel great, because we all learn at a different level. We all come from different areas of life. So what my goal is, or what I ask you to be open and listen and allow me, give me permission, to share these things with you. So, you can get something out of this. And I will cheat. I have notes. I'm not a presenter per se. So I have notes. I'm going to go back and forth because let me tell you what was interesting when I started like getting into an outline. I'm like, man, you can get into from one rabbit hole to the next because you go deeper and you learn here and here. And I could do like a seminar for 3, 4 hours, but I want to keep this down to a half an hour and not just give you all the answers, but I want to make you think. I want to help you to increase your awareness. So, because I believe that a lot of us, when we start something new, we are way too hard on ourselves and we don't allow the process to happen to the learning. So, I hope I can give you some tools. And guess what? These empowering questions, it actually starts within. So we have to work on ourselves, right? So, but what I would like to share, I'm trying to follow my outline, is we have a short period of time to talk to a new customer or a business partner or client, to pique their interest, to want them to learn more or ask questions. And how can we communicate in a meaningful presence and in a meaningful way? And what I find is, and I'm saying short period of time, I say, write this down. We always only have a short period of time, even let's say if you have an hour, because that's one thing that's really, really important. The short period of time that you have to share your message creates a sense of urgency. And that's when questions are very effective and powerful instead of just saying and talking at the people. And let me tell you, we are all guilty of it when we're brand new. I still sometimes say, "Oh my gosh, this didn't come out right. I wanted to say something totally different." But again, trust the process, right? So, and you know what's interesting? When you go back to a lot of trainings or when we talk with new business partners, we tell them, talk to people, right? How many people did you talk to? I'm like, oh my gosh, we actually tell our people to talk to people. And yes, we are, but we need to actually literally say, how many questions did you ask? How many people did you get to ask you questions? Because let me tell you, these things, all these little tools, they work when people say, oh, what's that? That's an opening line for us, or the buttons. I love these buttons. And then we could ask the next question: are you taking CBD? But this is already more how to, because I want to start within you, the empowering questions. For example, my empowering question for this morning, I got up about 2.5 hours earlier and I really did some, asking myself, I'm like, how can I reach today people who are on this call more effectively and even more, or even right now? So I really, because I want to reach people, I want to help you. So, and that eases my mind, right? So what's really, really interesting is it helped me to slow down, even though it might not look like that because I'm super nervous and I'm excited because there's so much to share. But that was my empowering question for this morning, particular for this call. And I shared a question last week. So before I go into, talking to someone on the phone, particularly, or even it goes so quick in my mind, I bump into somebody on the chairlift when we go skiing. And one of my empowering question is, and I write this down and I want to really do this right. How do I deliver my Sealy message? Easy, quick, quick to understand, but also to create a call of action. And I do this almost every time. And it really does help to open up your mind. And what also is really, really interesting to understand is when you ask questions, and now I'm sidetracking a little bit, or when you think about your goals, asking you a question, how often are you super attached to that goal? From an emotional standpoint. And what does that mean? It actually creates stress. So when you allow yourself to ask the question, but believe it that it's going to happen or it is happening, and just let it go. And I'm throwing this out there, but this is a topic we can talk about for 2 days. It's the law of attraction, the law of frequency, and it's the law. And a lot of times we get so involved in fixing and doing, we get too attached, even though we still need to do the doing and the fixing. So, and again, that's a process. And that's why I love what Brad does. When he says, get your mind right, that's what he means, because sometimes we get caught in that rat race and get your mind right. What do you want to achieve? And get your mind right. So that's already a little sidetracked here. But like I said, it's not just how-tos here because it goes a little deeper because we do have our daily mode of operations. We have how many calls do I need to make to reach this goal, or how many people do I need to sign up? Those type of questions. They're very important. But those deeper questions, and really my goal is to get you, like I said, that awareness, so the communication skills. So to ask better questions, we have to have better wording, right? And I love this. This is a good example. When we talk to people and say, I can't afford it. Most of the time, it's not the affording, it's a different priority, right? So how could we, there's been times where I cannot really financially do what I wanted to do, but I reframed it with, it's not a priority. I have other things that have priorities now. And I love to take care of those priorities. It has a whole different flow, right? So the communication skills, the better wording coming from a positive is very important, not a lack of. I can't afford it. It's like, it's a done deal. It sounds like I can never afford it, right? But how can I afford it? Maybe I can't afford it now, but how can I afford it? What can I do so I can afford it? So with the product or the business. So this is just an example for that. And so we want to learn how to, for example, our business. I look at it, we deal with so much pain, chronic pain, illnesses, inflammation, and whatnot. But when we talk about health, it has a whole different energy, right? So that's how we can shift our questions. How can I do this? What can I do to do this now? So again, the health aspect in our business is so much greater than the pain aspect, even though we help a lot of people with pain. So now shifting gears a little bit back into the questions, how do we get there? How do we, talk to people and with questions and things like that? So you have to create a rapport. Those people who are most flexible at creating a rapport are leading the conversation. This is kind of important because we want to lead the conversation where it goes. So there's a call to action at the end and people make a decision, yes or no. So how do we do that? And it is so amazing, when people say, well, how do I talk to people? I literally, on the chairlift, the button, what's up with the free CBD? I'm not just going to say, da 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 da. I'm like, oh, are you familiar? What are you taking right now? Are you in pain? So those are more the not so empowering questions, but they're questions that help you to learn more about these people, but also show that you care sincerely. Sincerely do care because, yeah, I would like to just say, oh, really? Have you seen this product? You just need to try that. Or what's interesting too, how often have we done this where we say, let's say, for example, somebody says, oh, I take glucosamine. And yeah, it's a great product, right? For the joints. And I've done this before. I said, oh, no, that's terrible. You should do this. Try this product. Try my product. That's much better. It sounds like I'm making it about the other person, right? But I really don't. It's actually about me. So when I went through this period, I'm a massage therapist by trade. I love helping people, but I wanted to, give it all to them. You got to do this. So, and my mentor said, well, you got to make it about the other person. I got so offended. And I thought, wow, but it is learning to ask those questions. Slow down, take the time to save the time. So slow down and ask these questions. Or when even people say from the business aspect, oh, is it a pyramid scheme? Most of us go right into the defense mode, right? No, it's not. What are you talking about? Now, get this. A lot of people don't even know what it is. They just hear this word. They know that MLM are related to whatever this type of business model. So instead of just being emotional and defending, I say, what do you mean? What do you know about pyramids? Oh, okay, and then you can go deeper. Well, have you ever been in a pyramid? Do you know that pyramids are actually true pyramids are illegal? Or, and be playful and have fun with that. So those are again more how-tos. So it really is important. But with these questions, you can actually, in a really short period of time, you can create a rapport. And a rapport is a part of a relationship. You're building a relationship with that person in you can do this real quick. Another good one is way back when, asking for somebody's phone number, right? Because you want to follow up. Can I get your number? Or what's your number? Nowadays, it's a little easier. People are more flexible with that. But when I learned to ask, what is the best way to reach you? Cell or email, text, or can I leave you a voicemail? People give you their number. So we're saying the same thing, but saying it different. And again, that's a process. So what I encourage you, in your business context, you could use this in your job, in your relationship, in your gym life, whatever, in your hobby, whatever, when you deal with people or with yourself, you can create these questions. How can I bring my message across? So especially when people joining network marketing business, I mean, in our team, we've had so many people that their own other businesses that they're doing full time or jobs that they've gotten more success because of what they learn here through this business. So that's pretty cool. Little side note. So, and it really, what I would like to share real quick, because my husband, Guy, he wrote a book, Discovering Your Authentic Truth. And this is where I asked him today, I'm like, you know what? I want to talk about empowering questions. And man, he on page 225, for the people who have the book, If not, I'm going to go through this real quick. How to create empowering questions. And there's actually an exercise, and it's really cool. It really made me think this morning from a lack of, we do come from in general, lack of self-love, even though we're training. And I even find myself sometimes, but when you get into these empowering questions, it's really interesting. So I'm actually going to do some reading from this, but have that blank piece of paper. And this is actually, we learned this through a mentor in New York. We did several courses with her. We helped her facilitate the courses. We got certified in neuro-linguistical programming. And so this is where all this comes from. But when you really use this, it's so awesome, and use it for yourself, not just for others. So the real supreme question, how to go about questions, is to begin with what, how, and who. Not so much the why. Why is this happening to me? That's not really empowering, right? So state the affirmative, like it's happening, and then build momentum with words like right now, even more, and while. So, and this is it really, when you ask these questions, when you get into the exercise mode, you will feel it actually shifts the energy. It really does. So, for example, what can I do right now to attract even more happiness into my life? How can I add even more value to my life right now? What more can I be doing right now to increase my personal finances? And you do these questions at night. Don't think about it. And your subconscious mind will go to work. And when you do this often enough, you will, within 2-3 weeks, you will feel a shift. You really do. So what you do is basically, I love this. Guy put this down. You have 3 columns on your white sheet piece of paper. And you basically, in column 1, you label the desires. What would you like to have? What is it that you desire? And write down 3 to 5 of them. So, and that's where a lot of times where people, it's what I meant, with the self-love. It's like, wow, how we're even afraid to word them sometimes. So it could take a little bit, but do it. Then in column 2, list 3 to 5 things that you don't want. But then what you do right next to it, write the opposite of that. And you will realize actually that they would go in the first column. There's a lot of things you don't even realize. And then in the column 3 is write 3 to 5 qualities you love about yourself. Aspects of, like, I'm giving, I'm persevere. It's like, oh yes, I'm persevere. I'm creative, and things like that. And then you can really form questions around those desires. How can I create $10,000 a month right here, right now? How can I get top network marketers looking at my business and are super excited to start right here and right now? How can I be even more effective in what I'm saying right here and right now to share my information with you? Because, I'm trying to share this in a half hour. This stuff is so amazing because, like I said, it's personal, and then you want to translate it outside, to help other people understand what you want to share with them. So this book is amazing. I really want you guys consider to take a look at this, because this is part of personal growth, and it's what happens here in the network marketing industry. I believe in network marketing, we have the challenge because we have to face that personal growth, especially when you start building teams and you get in the higher ranks. And and this is important to understand, we all learn at a different level, come from a different place, and we have different communication techniques. Like I'm a very visual, kinesthetic person. I need to see, do, feel. Some people you can just paint a picture. Some people they just hear it. Guy is amazing. He can just hear something and bam, he got it. For me, it takes a little longer. I need to do it 3, 4 times. And guess what? Mr. Hager, he repeats himself 3, 4 times on these calls. And a lot of people go, why does he do that? It's because people need to hear it several times and hear it often enough. So this is very, very powerful. And but more business related questions. What I find fun, it's really fun. Take yourself to a quiet place and look at the information that you've learned. Because that, I think, is the challenge here in our business, because there's so much technology and with the nutrition, with the nano and all that. But how can we relate that without getting so much into the detail? Or even better, how can we relate that when people go, oh, wow, I really would like to know more about that. And then we could say, oh, well, let me share this video and use the app. Oh, here, see, I got this on my app. Show and tell, instead of going blah, blah, blah. And then because when you have the permission to really share, when they want to know, because of asking the questions, then they are going to watch those hour-long videos or other things, other tools that you give them. So, but I have some questions that I've designed around the business and product, and I want to share with you a couple, but I want you to do this on your own and play around with it. And I'm definitely open to, play this with you, and you can relay these messages or questions to me, and we can upgrade them or make them even more better, to help to get a better result. But for example, for clients, wouldn't you, when there's that volley, okay, nutrition, wouldn't you agree that optimum nutrition gives the body the best means to function at a healthy level? Hmm. Yeah, I do agree. So that is a nice opening question for me. Or do you realize that all vitamins and supplements have to go through your gastro and get assimilated through the liver? And wouldn't it be great if we can give our liver a break and get that absorption right away into your cell? Have you ever thought about that? How much easier that would be on your body? And that's that flair. And I hope you get this, because it's not just, it's more, you create a rapport, it's conversational, it's fun, because and that's how you can share. And I'm like, you know what? Well, we're off this lift in a second, but it sounds like you're pretty interested. Yay or nay, no biggie, but what's the best way for me to reach you so I can share some information, or I can even send you a free sample? But I need your information. So let me just put your number, get it in the phone. And I tell you what, I never get a no, because there's these softeners. Or when people say, I don't ever take supplements. I say, ever? Really? You never take vitamin C or drink a good tea for your health? Oh, okay. So even when people say no or say something completely negative, ask those questions with, we call them softeners. Really? How so? Okay. That's interesting. And then that conversation is not over. It continues. But then, of course, there are those people where you're like, you know what? Never mind. And you just let them go. So again, it's that process. So one of my favorite ones is, again, is it a pyramid scheme? I'm like, what do you mean? And sometimes, like I said earlier, it can be a positive question because they just really don't know. And we are too quick to defend. So, but those are a couple, that I use. And like I said, I would love for you to create your own questions. around your personal goals, desires, and categorize them in, life, hobby, relationship, business, but then also create empowering questions or questions that are calling into action / buying or interest with your clients. And do your personal ones first, like at night or when you have time over the weekend, just kind of jot them down. But again, they don't have to be perfect. Be playful. Trust me, there are so many questions when we do this exercise with new people. They come kind of from a negative place and then we reframe them. And I would definitely love to offer this to everybody here on this call, that you can reach us, a guy and myself, and we would help you. This is such a fun thing to do. You empower your own communication. You actually slow down. And what happens, your awareness becomes bigger and you're able to look at things more from the outside instead of being, you could even feel this now when I say this. Okay, I'm getting on the chairlift. I'm like, oh my God, I hope I can talk to this person right now and I hope they sign up. I literally went to the malls 20 years ago and tried to sign up people instead of making new friends. Even though I was told, just go out and make 3 new friends today. I just didn't have those skills. And it took me a long time to learn these skills, even though I'm a people person. So, but I hope with this, my goal was met. I want to actually have you sit there now and be a little confused. That's a good place. And I want you to have a lot of questions for yourself, maybe for me. So if you have questions, raise your hand. My husband, he will help. And we can help, with some of the things right now. And, but that is my goal, to have you wanting to ask questions for yourself in the business, about the product, how you can relay that to people. So does anybody want to add something? Kathy Joe, let me see. Welcome. Let me see. I'm going to allow to talk. I hope this works. Kathy Joe, can you hear me? Or can you let me?
I can.
Welcome.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, you were talking about call to action.
I cannot hear you.
I did unmute myself. Can you hear me now? Hello, hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm sorry?
We can hear you, Kathy Joe. Let me go fix Elka's computer. I'll be right down there, but go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Regarding the call to action, that is one thing that I struggle with, so it doesn't appear salesy. Can you give us some examples of the call to action, what to say to them?
Okay, I just heard the last part, so it doesn't sound too salesy.
Okay. My struggle sometimes is the call to action. So can you give us some examples of what we could say that doesn't sound salesy?
Yeah. You know what? The thing is with sounding salesy, that's interesting. That's where these questions come in and how we, present ourselves, not being super pushy and all that. But a good call to action for me is, it depends what the action is. If it's information, I'm like, wouldn't you want to learn the information now? So let me help you so I can give you that information. So what is the best way for me to reach you? Or when it comes to the closing point for a sale, for example, what has to happen so we can come to an agreement right now? That's a good one. How can I help you? What is there any information that you still need to, let's make a deal. Let's close, let's get you started. And especially when people say, you know what, I need to do a little bit more research. Like, man, and here's these softeners. I'm like, you know what? I get it. But for example, our business is not a business decision. That main, $1,000, it's really not a business decision. We have many people buy pro packs. They're never going to do the business, but they want the product, and that's okay. But when it comes to to trying the product, it's like, you know what? But the best research is to try the product. And then as you try it, you will learn how it feels. And so let's just get you started. And then as we go along, you will learn more about it. That normally helps.
Hey, Elka.
Yeah.
Hey, Kathy Jo, I just wanted to ask Kathy Jo, do you have something in mind specifically that you're thinking of when you're saying call to action? Because like Elka was just saying, it could be a kind of a breadth of different things. So do you have something in mind, like something that's happened in the past or that you're thinking of
Yes, I
more
do
specifically?
actually. Yes, thank you for asking, Guy. Say you're putting a post out on Facebook, okay? And you're not really saying what it is, you're just kind of putting stuff out there, but you want a call to action. So they will ask you questions, so then you can message them and go from there. That's kind of what I was thinking of.
Awesome. Guy, do you want to answer that?
I think it goes right along with what Elka's saying. And that's why this is, in general speak, it's the same thing over and over again. It's about asking that empowering question. Now, the question that you tag on to that post is what's really important. And what I would also recommend, start doing some searches on Facebook of different other network marketing companies, and then take a look at what some of these people are writing for their posts and how they're getting responses. And don't, if the person's only got like 1 or 2 comments, that's probably not one you want to follow or kind of learn from. But take a look at ones that are getting, 20, 50 kinds of responses, and kind of that will start building an idea for you as to how to frame a question for that such a post in that. But it's just like what Elka was saying too, in that, do you take your health important? Is health important to you? Well, do you understand that, or what does health mean to you? There's a whole nother avenue, and I know Dr. Young has been investigating in this as well, of attraction marketing. And in attraction marketing, you don't mention your company name, you don't mention your product, you mention a reason why people want to know more information. And you can do that through questions as well. So for instance, if you're seeing somebody, or you want to make a post about sleeping at night, and you could put a statement on there. Do you realize over 60% of Americans have some sort of issue sleeping at night? Is that you?
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. And you just put something like that on there, and now you're looking to generate some comments below that. And then you get into a little bit of a volley on you don't answer their comment. You let them know that you've seen their comment, but then you private message them. And that's where the real volley happens. It doesn't happen necessarily on the public forum. It happens more personally, because now you can ask them more specific questions that pertain to them. Well, how long have you had sleep issues? What type of sleep issue do you have? Have you ever taken anything? Have you ever tried melatonin? Have you ever experienced the melatonin hangover? So then that leads to all these other questions that's going to happen on a private message. But to get the interest, you have to ask a powerful question that's going to be meaningful to that person to want to respond. And again, it's not going to happen with just one post. As Brad mentions over and over, it's about consistency and persistency. You have to do these posts again and again and again. Most people know that I post on my story page or on Sealy Guy or on my own personal page almost every night as I'm going to bed, something about sleep issues. And Carla Birch shared the same thing last Monday night. She won $100, and Brad interviewed her a little bit last Monday night, and that's what she says she's doing too. And it's just about being that consistent, persistent. You can't just make a post today and then another one 4 days from now and then another one 2 days. It's got to be consistent. And Brad recommends, and a lot of professionals recommend, 3 posts a day on your Facebook page. It doesn't have to all be to try to get action from people, but to get people to want to start following what you're saying and having to share on your Facebook page. And then you throw in those powerful questions every once in a while too. Does that help?
So those 3 posts, one of them could just be like of your grandkids, and then the
Yes.
other can be really, okay, yeah.
The idea is to have frequency and consistency on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
And you don't really want to do more than 3, because then Facebook will start burying you. If you have only 1, a lot of people may not see it. So by having 3, at least you're broadening. It's just it's a healthy number to broaden your exposure.
Awesome.
Is there a certain time of the day that is better? You said nighttime is when more people are on, or?
Well, nighttime, what I personally do at nighttime is I put on a post about sleep, because the insomnias, because I used to be one, are up at night looking at their Facebook. And if they happen to come across their post, maybe it'll be enough to have them want to try the product.
Right.
But generally what I've learned from Facebook professionals is morning, evening, or morning, day, and evening, like 3 times throughout the day type of thing. You don't want to put 3 posts right in a row necessarily, although sometimes I do that, but you want to spread them out throughout the day.
Okay.
Awesome.
And where can I get your book?
Oh, thank you for asking. It's on Amazon, and you can just put in my first and last name, and Amazon will pop right up. I've also got my personal site, GuyBerlando.com, and it's hyperlinked there as well. Thank you for asking, Kathy Jo.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Sure thing. And I see Maxine's got a question too, Elka.
Yep. Let me unmute her. All right, Maxine. Are you there? Whoops.
Looks like she just fell off.
I know, right? But you know what? Maybe she'll come back on. I want to just share something real quick, because this was a live scenario. What happened? I failed to ask Katie Jo another question. So, Guy, this was a perfect example because I was answering already, but I could have been more specific. And so Guy asked that question, what specifically do you mean? And then we were able to answer better. So it was a perfect example. Love it. Awesome. Thank you, Guy. And thank you, Kathy Jo. Let me see, Maxine, where did she go? Huh. I don't know. So anybody else have a question or want to add on? Because we all have experience. This is, I almost rather call this a conversation and sharing, because we all come from different walks of life and are successful in our own realm. So, and a lot of you guys maybe have done some seminars in that sense and have something to share with the group that we can translate into Sealy by Design. Anybody want to share or a question?
Yes, I have another.
Okay, go ahead, Kathy Jo.
If somebody flat out asks you, what product are you using? And you don't want to put it out there.
Whoops. What happened?
Say, so it doesn't look like you're trying to avoid them, because if you just say, I'll PM you, that kind of looks funny too.
Yeah. Well, you could follow it up with another question. What kind of product are you taking? I'm like, what product in specific? Kind of ask them back a question, because you're asking me a question. What kind of products are you taking? Is there anything in particular that you would looking for a product that does, something specific? That's how you can kind of navigate the question too. And sometimes, you know what? I put it on there directly. I use a specific CBD that's absorbed within 5 minutes, and my liver loves it because it doesn't have to work, or make it, light like that. And we can talk more on a private level, especially if you're on a page, let's say a multiple sclerosis page, and they don't want support group. They don't want people just to, bombard and put all their websites in the comments. So I do maybe say, kind of be vague, but have, like I said, the absorption thing, that is a big, big kicker. It's really helps. Does that make sense?
It sure does. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And as you can see, the whole flair, it's a process. You kind of, and you have to allow yourself making those mistakes. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Doesn't matter. So, matter of fact, the more mistakes you make, that means you're doing something. So it's good. And we can always go back. What I've learned in conversation in particular, nobody has died. And I can go back and say, you know what? We maybe got off on the wrong foot. I didn't really understand your question, but what is it that you're looking for example? Or how can I help you to understand what we were talking about? And you know what? 99% of the time, it, ends up in a good conversation. So awesome. Well, if there's any more, I'm going to just ask one more time. If anybody has questions. And like I said, I think it's awesome, especially with these personal empowering questions, because I know you will need help a little bit, and let's have fun with it. So everybody on this call, if you want to do this, reach out to us either on Facebook, private message. And I don't know, a lot of these people are not directly on our team, but that doesn't matter, because this is a fun project where you learn, where you can manifest. Because how often have you set an affirmation and then your committee says, yeah, right, money doesn't grow on trees, or yeah, right, me 10 grand a month, so it's contradictory. That's why you don't reach your manifestation. So when we learn how to ask these questions right and let them go, we can let the universe do the work. And then that'll help us to do the work we need to do. So I really encourage you, and anybody who wants this recorded, just email us or private message us on Facebook. It's guybrolando@gmail.com. You can email us and we can send you the recording of this call.
Actually, if you would send it to guy@seelyguy.com, I'd appreciate that. Be a better email, guy@seelyguy.com. And then also I wanted to let you know, Elka, we got a text message from Michelle Hill. She's the one that's one of them that's dialed in right now.
Oh,
and she
okay.
just wanted to pass along her appreciation. She felt like you were really speaking into her and where she's at right now. And she just appreciated you very much in this training.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Awesome. And give us some feedback, what you would like to learn more about. And we can do some of these trainings, on Saturdays, and we'll keep them. Wow, this was almost 45 minutes. I was trying to do it in a half hour, but I hope you all got something from this. I know I did. My presentation skills can be a little bit more on point, but I speak from the heart. So sometimes I go a little bit, from here to there. And so with that, I'm going to sign off. And thank you very much for allowing me to share. And you guys have a great weekend. Bye now.